Okay, I am Kajalpreet Kaur and I am here to conduct your speaking. May I know your full name?
My name is Jaspal Kaur.
Okay, how may I address you?
You can call me by my first name Jaspal.
Okay, may I see your ID please?
Yes, here is it.
Okay, where do you come from?
I come from Aurangabad. It is located in the north part of India.
Okay, let's talk about work or studies. What work do you do?
I am a student. I completed my senior secondary school and now I am planning go abroad for my higher study.
Okay, do you like to go to abroad?
Yes, of course, I like to go abroad because it is my dream city and I want to go Canada for my higher study because I think the education system is very good in that city.
Okay, Jaspal, do you miss being a student?
Yes, I miss being a student because when I was in my school, that time I was only concentrate on my study. But rather than in these days, I am also work in some doing some skills related to the stitching, help with my mother, and sometime I cooking, learn cooking skills, also help with my mother. So I'm not concentrate on my study because of lots of work.
Okay, Jaspal, do you prefer to study in morning or evening?
Well, I mostly prefer to study in the morning time because I think it is the good for me. My mind is fully relaxed. I feel more concentrate on my study in the morning time.
Okay, let's talk about writing. Do you write a lot?
Yes, writing is my hobby. When I was free in my when I'm free in my home, that time I writing some related to my hobbies, and sometime I write a lots of things which is necessary for me.
What do you like to write?
Well, mostly I write a lot related to my hobbies, and sometime I write my future plan, and sometime I write which increase day by day. Lots of things like in government make a lots of rules for the public, and I think it is important for me. I write something important in my diary.
Okay. Do you prefer typing or handwriting when you are writing?
Well, it's depend on my mood. When I write my diary, I always write with my hand, and sometimes I write on computer. That time I write email and some texting to my friends.
Okay, let's talk about technology. What technology do you often use? Computers or cell phones?
Well, usually I use my mobile phone because I think it is a it is very easiest source for me. And when I use my mobile phone in my daily routine, I easiest to type messages, texting messages to my friends, and I also search on new topics related to my study on my mobile phone.
Okay, what electronic device have you bought lately?
I vividly remember last year my father gifted a laptop for a birthday gift, and that I think it was a very late moment for me when I buy a laptop in a very late.
Okay. Is there any technology you want to buy?
Yes, in future time I bought a laptop for me because these days I share my laptop with my brother, and I think if I want a laptop with my own money, it is very sufficient for me.
Okay, Chispal, there is any technology you do not like?
Well, I do not like a technology related to these days. Mostly youngsters use their mobile phone for social media, for Instagram, for Facebook. I think it is not good for the youngster because they don't concentrate on their study rather than they spend their leisure time in the mobile phone.
Okay. Do you or your friends like using social media?
Yes, of course, my all friends and me like social media because we indulge in social media a lot. Like lots of friends make a video on Instagram, and sometimes they post lots of videos on the YouTube channel. And I think it is these days it is also good source of income money. My lots of friends are famous on the YouTube channel and earn a lots of money.
Okay, let's talk about public transportation. What kind of public transportation do you usually take?
I'm a student, and when I want to traveling by another city, that time I mostly prefer to buy bus and train because I think it is a very cheapest transport in my city, and it is also good for me because I'm a pocket friendly person.
Okay. Do most people prefer public transportation in your country?
These days, lots of people use their own vehicles because they think it is a very good way for when they reach their destination within a few minutes and within a few hours they can reach rather than public transport.
When do you usually take public transportation?
Mostly I use public transport when I go to move on another city, like when I go to some place related to the around 2 to 3 hours. At that time, I use public transport.
Okay. It's a time of your cue card. I give you 1 minute for preparation and 2 minutes for speak. Describe a town or city where you live in future. You should say where is it, how do you know about this city, and what it is famous for, and why you like to live there. Okay, start.
I like lots of cities, and mostly I went with my friends and with my family members. But today I would like to talk about a one such city. Actually, it is a Chandigarh city. It is located in the north part of India, and I first time I visit this city with my family member, and that time I was. Over the moon because when I see the lots of facilities related to the public transport, related to the some eating place, supermarkets, and mall. I was very happy because the city is fully greenery and there are lots of amenities related to the good education, good hospitality system. So I was very attracted that type of things, and usually I go with my friends on the weekends because I think it is a good city for me when I go and some entertain with my friends, like eating some fast food with the sit in the good location, like there are a lot of cafe are built in this city and people can spend their leisure time in that cafeteria. And if I talk about related to the gardens and parks, there are a lots of park and garden which is built by a government, and government provide a lots of exercise tools in that garden. People can spend their leisure time in that garden, and they can also use that tools for their good health, like they can do exercise. Mostly elderly people use these days that tools, and that tools provide a lots of good facilities, like they can live a healthy lifestyle. And if I talk about related to the children playground, there are a lots of playground also make in that city. And I want to go in that city because I live in that city for good education purpose. And if I talk about related to the job, I think it is a good city for me when I do job for related to my study. So this is my dream city, and definitely if I get a chance in future time, I will live that.
Okay. It's a time of your follow-up questions. What is the difference between facilities in countryside and ones in the cities?
If I talk about related to the countryside, there are a lots of amenities related to the public transport as well as greenery. Like in rural area, lots of people eat fresh food because they grow that vegetables and some other crops by their hands. And if I talk about related to the developed city, there are a lots of amenities related to the good education, good hospitality, and some other sources. People can not face any problems related to the shopping. They can easily go supermarket, easily go mall when they are do some shopping.
Okay. Which do you prefer, living in a city or only visiting it as a tourist?
Well, I think city is good for me when I will live in future time, because I already mentioned that city provide a lots of amenities to everyone. So I think in future time, if I will live that city, it is good for my education as well as my job purpose. And if I live in that city, I can also learn a lots of things about the new people, and if I also get a chance to meet new friends and make some new friends on the social media as well as in the face to face conversation.
Why?
Because if I live in that city, I touch on lots of friends, like my lots of friends contact on the social media. I can contact on the social media as well as I get a chance to conversation face to face in school, in college time, as well as if I get a chance to job, then I also conversation in the office.
Okay. Okay, Jaspal, what are the difference between old facilities and new facilities?
Well, if I talk about related to the old facilities, that time people mostly prefer traveling via public transport, and they can easily reach their destinations because that time people don't use their own vehicles. Because of the less traffic, they can easily move to one to another city. And these days lots of changes are in cities, lots of public transport as well as their own vehicles are increasing day by day. So people face lots of difficulties related to the traffic as well as the traffic noise, and this is the much problems in these days, mostly in the developed cities.
Okay. What facilities do young people and old people like in your country?
Well, in my country, mostly.
Okay. What facilities do young people and old people like in your country?
Well, in my country, mostly youngster people spend their leisure time in the park, in cafeteria, because it is built by a government. And if I talk about related to the older people, they can spend their time in the malls as well as in the garden. And if I talk about related to the new yoga apartment, these days government also provide yoga facilities to people. They can spend their leisure time in that type of exercise without pay any single rupee.
Okay, it's done of your speaking. You can go.